You're listening to the Bruins Forecheck podcast. You can support the show by commenting, liking, and subscribing to our YouTube channel at Bruins Forecheck, or by leaving 5 stars and a comment on iTunes, Apple, Amazon, and Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find and listen to your favorite podcast. The Bruins Forecheck. Remember, it's FORR for number 4, Bobby Orr. And now, here is your host, Dave Daniello. Enjoy this week's show.
Hey! It's Dave Daniello here coming to you from my studio in Bothell, Washington with another edition of the Bruins Forecheck podcast. And remember, Forecheck is FORR for number 4, Bobby Orr. Yes, we are back, and we're going to call this edition the All-Star edition of the Bruins Forecheck podcast. Now, I know, it's been a while since we last talked. Sometimes life just gets in the way, and I am sorry. I've had lots and lots of my listeners reach out asking me to get back on here, bring some more content. We just have not been able to do it. Lots and lots of different reasons. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. You want to talk Boston Bruins and you want to talk All-Star Game. But I'm still here. So like I said, we're going to call this the All-Star Game edition. And we are going to talk Bruins hockey. So one more time, I apologize. We haven't been out here. We haven't been able to come to you weekly like we want. That is going to change. We are going to make this better, and we are going to come to you much, much more often so you can get the content that you are asking for. And let me just say thank you to everyone who has reached out, given us an opportunity to get back on the air, telling us how much you like hearing the things that we have to say. Thank you. And we are going to do a better job of getting this out to you. And we are going to be with the Bruins through the rest of this season and for seasons to come. So what are we doing here? We're going to talk about the NHL All-Star Game, the skills competition. How do you think it went? Some of the reactions, how some of the players did. What do you think about this year's version? Did the NHL nail it this year? Or was it like last year in Florida where they had goalies shooting at surfboards and some really, really piss poor skills? The breakaway challenge, all of that is gone, and thank God. This year, we'll break it down, but I thought this year they did a much, much better job. We still could have fixed some things, but it's a work in progress, and I was much, much more entertained this year, but we'll get into that. What were your thoughts on this? Let me know by sending me an email to the bruinsforecheck@gmail.com. Again, it's bruinsforecheck, FORRCHECK @gmail.com. You can also message me on Facebook and Instagram at Bruins Forecheck and on YouTube at Bruins Forecheck. So remember, Forecheck, FORR, and that's for number 4, Bobby Orr. We want to hear from you. Did the NHL do a good job this year with the skills competition and the All-Star Game? I'll be giving you my thoughts on this. I kind of touched on it already, but I'll be giving you my thoughts on the matter coming up. So please reach out. Let me know your opinion on this and whether or not you agree with me. After you listen to this podcast, did you agree with me on how I felt the NHL did and how I felt the Boston Bruins did? But first, we're going to talk the Boston Bruins season to date. How are the Boston Bruins doing up to this point? And we are halfway through the season. Actually, we're technically more than halfway through the season. It's an 82-game season. The Boston Bruins have played 49 games. So they're 7 games past the midway point. They have 71 points to this point of the season and a 724 winning percentage, which is tied with the Vancouver Canucks. Yes, I said it. The Vancouver Canucks are tied with the Boston Bruins, and that is for the for the top spot in the NHL. The Vancouver Canucks are just on fire. But good on the Bruins. 31 wins, 9 losses, 9 overtime losses for that 71 points, which again is tied with Vancouver at 71 points. But technically, the Boston Bruins are second in the league because of their number of wins. The Vancouver Canucks have 33 wins to the Bruins 31, and that is the tiebreaker. So, but did you see this coming? Let's talk Bruins here. Did you see this coming? And I want to know. If you saw this coming this year, I want to know. And I want frickin' proof of it, too, because nobody that I talked to thought the Boston Bruins would be sitting number 1 in the East at this point in the season this year. After what they went through last year, the way, the dismal end of the season in the playoffs, losing Bergeron, losing Krejci, losing Foligno, all the other pieces that went away, and they're still here. They are still relevant. Can you believe it? The Bruins are still relevant. 45 goal, they have a plus 45 goal differential. They scored 173 goals this year. At home, they're 16-4-3. Away, they're 15-5-6. Consistent. They have been consistent. They have their last 10 games, 7-1-2. They've won 2 in a row. But let's just throw that out the window because of the All-Star break. You have no idea what teams are going to look like when they come back from this. Half the guys have been out partying. The other half of the guys went, to the Cayman Islands, or they went to the Caribbean, or they went out someplace on vacation with their families. Certainly not treating their bodies probably like they should be. They're blowing off a little bit of steam. But did anybody see this coming? I did not think the Boston Bruins were going to be first in the East at this point. I didn't think it was even remotely possible that they would be here. But they are one of the top teams in the league right now, and a team that I honestly would not want to play. Their defense has been stepping up. Brandon Carlo. Oh my God, Brandon Carlo has been doing fantastic. He has flipped a switch this year. Completely different hockey player. I feel like Brandon Carlo has really started to get it. And he has made the transition into one of the better defensemen in the league. He's already got the size. He's already got the stick length, all of that stuff. But he would always make some type of skating mistake, puck mistake. He would make some type of play in his own end that would just leave you scratching your head, wondering how this guy continues to get ice time, right? Not this year. This year, Brandon Carlo has just been a steady force for the Boston Bruins. This guy has just been getting it done. 3 goals, 10 assists for 13 points. Not super on the offensive side of things, but the man is plus 23. A lot of people don't put plus minus. They don't want to talk about that. They don't put a lot of stake into it. In my opinion, when you have a defenseman that's a plus 23, that means he's on the ice for 23 more goals scored than get scored against when he's on the ice. That is a big big deal. And by the way, he has one game-winning goal. So good on you, Brandon Carlo. I'm impressed. I couldn't have said this last year, but I am this year. How about a couple of the other guys? Trent Frederic. Career year, Trent Frederic. He just continues to get better and better and better. Go back and listen to my podcasts before this. I have raved about this man. I love this kid. He's a Boston Bruin through and through. Tough, physical, runs his mouth just enough, backs it up. That's the kind of shit that you're looking for. He's got the shit. He's got it. He's going to get it done. When you put him out on the ice, or when I see him out on the ice, I am not worried about anything. This kid plays hockey and plays at a high level, and I see him getting better and better and better every time I see him. Career year numbers: 14 goals, 15 assists, 29 points. He's lighting it up. He's on pace for something like 25, 26 goals this year. He's probably looking at 60 points, 55, 60 points. He's a plus 17, 45 penalty minutes, which I think is a good number. I really think it's a good number. I would like to see him step up and throw his fists a couple more times, because he's really the only guy the Bruins have that will do that. But I like the production. I like the production compared to the penalty minutes. I really appreciate what this kid brings to the ice every night. So good on you, Trent Frederic. And the last person I want to talk to you about is Danton Heinen. Let me tell you, if anybody, reach out to me, send me an email, bruinsforecheck@gmail.com. Send me a message on Facebook, send me a message on Instagram, and you tell me that you knew that Danton Heinen was going to be this type of player for the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins signed this kid after the beginning of the season, brought him back. I think this is his second stint with the team. Nobody saw this coming. I thought he'd be in and out of the lineup, healthy scratch here and there. Not this year. This guy is just simply amazing. He's played 41 games. He's got 9 goals, 9 assists for 18 points, had a hat trick just recently. He's a plus 12. He is a staple in the bottom 6 of that lineup. And I didn't see it coming. This is not a player I would have asked the Bruins to sign until now. Somebody understood what was going on here, and he has just thrived under Jim Montgomery. I don't know how they've done it, but this kid is just getting it done. Pasternak's getting it done, 33 goals. I think he's third in the league in goals. Marchand's putting up numbers, even though he's got the C. He still put up 24 and 23 for 47 points. Charlie Coyle has stepped into probably the top center position, and he's done it very, very well. I don't think anybody saw that Charlie Coyle was going to be able to take on that responsibility night in and night out, and he has. So good job, Boston Bruins. You guys are getting it done with some incredible guys that have stepped up, and we haven't even talked about goalies. Let's chat about the goalies. Linus Ullmark, last year's Vezina winner. He's played 24 games. He was hurt for a little bit of a stint. He's 15 and 6. 2.78 goals against average for a .915 save percentage. He's given up 66 goals on 696 saves. And then you have Jeremy Swayman. It's almost like these guys just, I'll take it this season. You get it next year. Whatever. Ullmark was the number 1 guy last year. Swayman was a very, very good number 2. And they've just flipped the switch this year. And Swayman says, you know what, I'm going to take the number 1 spot. I think, this year, Linus, you can be fantastic backup, right? Jeremy Swayman, 16 wins, 3 losses, 2.30 goals against average with a 924 save percentage and 59 goals against. I think that puts him in the top 3 of both of those categories, goals against average and save percentage in the league. That's why he was an all-star. And he just, in my opinion, Jeremy Swayman could be one of those guys. I'm not saying he is. I am not putting him in that category of Martin Brodeur yet. I am not putting him in the category of Patrick Roy yet. Marc-Andre Fleury, not yet. But he has that opportunity and he can do it for the Bruins. He's not going to be able to get the number of wins that those guys had, even if he is that type of player. And I'll tell you why. Because they're splitting every night. You know, they go back and forth. Linus plays a game, Swayman plays a game. Linus plays a game, Swayman plays a game. So they're never, when you do that, it's not the same era, right? Patrick Roy played all those games. Martin Brodeur played all of those games. Grant Fuhr played all of those games, right? They were workhorses. It's a little different now. You know, you need 2 goalies to make it now. So is Swayman going to be able to get up there in the number of wins and all of that? Probably not even close. But can he be one of the best goalies the Bruins have ever had? Absolutely. Can he be better than Tuukka Rask? Absolutely. Can he be better than Tim Thomas? Absolutely. He just needs to keep it going. This kid is fucking phenomenal. I love him. I love his attitude. I love to listen to him talk. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always John with the referees. He's always in a good mood. It doesn't matter what happens. Very seldom do you see him lose his temper. He's calm in the net. He's everything a coach looks for. So anyway, let's go back this season between the goaltenders and the players that we've talked about who have stepped up this year. I just didn't see the Bruins getting here with 49 games played and having 71 points and leading the East. So great job, Boston Bruins. Great job. I'm so happy to be a Bruins fan the last couple of years. You know, obviously the playoffs last year was not a fun time for any Bruins fan. But you know what? They've given us hope again. And hope sucks, doesn't it? Just hope sucks. But we have something really good to look forward to over the next few months. And I'm hoping that the Bruins can do what they were supposed to do last year and make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think that could be a lot of fun. And Jim Montgomery needs it. He deserves it. So I think the Bruins have done an outstanding job. I think the organization has done an outstanding job. They've dealt with the Milan Lucic situation, I think, in a great way by almost ignoring it. They've kind of cut ties in a way. Don't think you're going to see him back on the ice ever. I'm glad I said that in one of my earlier podcasts at the beginning of the season. What is Milan Lucic going to be able to bring to this team? And all he brought was disaster. That's all he brought was disaster. So he's done, in my opinion. I don't think you're gonna see Milan Lucic in Bruins black and gold again this season, no matter what happens at his trial coming up. Okay, so let's switch gears, change lanes, put on different skates, however you want to look at it. We're going to talk about the All-Star Game. What'd you guys think? What'd you guys think of this year's All-Star Game? I thought it was pretty good. I really thought that the NHL did a much, much better job this year than in previous years. Last year in Florida was the absolute joke of all jokes. I think it was an embarrassment for the NHL. The ridiculous skills competitions on the beach, things didn't go well. the ridiculous breakaway challenge that where you do a skit and you dress up and whatever, and yeah, that's just an embarrassment. So you know what? They went back to hockey, which is the most important thing. I love the six uh, the six competitions that they had. They had the accuracy shooting, which is a staple in the All Star skills competitions. The accuracy shooting, by the way, Ray Bork used to be the master at that. I think he won 7 in a row. By the way, 7 in a row as a Boston Bruin. So fans, you should remember that. Take a look that up. But they had the stick handling competition. They had the hardest shot competition, which this year was not quite as good. The passing challenge, which I have my opinion about. One timers, which I have my opinion about. And then they have the fastest skater, which is always a great event. So let's talk about the accuracy shooting. You know what? Overall, pretty good. They had different people passing the puck. It went okay. It went like it always does, and that's one of the better events. And of course, Connor McDavid, 4 for 4, 9.3 seconds or whatever that bullshit was. He did a great job, and was awesome. So, but yeah, the accuracy shooting was a good event. The stick handling was okay. I thought the stick handling event was all right. It I don't have really much to say about it. It was okay. They they did a good job. Again, bringing it back to hockey, stick handling is a major skill, and it's not shooting at playing cards, on the Vegas Strip. So it was much better than that. So the hardest shot was a little weak this year at 102 miles an hour. I think Pedersen won that. You know, have some defensemen. Have some guys that can really bring it. Like Chara used to be able to bring it. I think Al McInnes used to be the big winner of that event. But overall, it was pretty good. I think they should change it up. I don't know how they would change it up, but I think they should get 3 shots at it. Um, you know, Maybe do hardest shot and do a smaller target. I don't know. They've got to change it up just a little bit though, I think. And then they had the passing challenge. They talked to Matt Barzell after the passing challenge because there was a lot of people that missed passes. A lot of guys were missing these passes. You had to hit these little pylons on the edge of the rink, and they were all worth different points. The passing challenge, they were coasting for a majority of it. And then they had to skate to the other end of the rink and make 3 passes. They had like 45 seconds through the whole thing. It was okay. Matt Barzell talked about it. They really, it was kind of an odd event, I think, for the players because they're usually passing to a target that's moving. And this was a stationary target. So I think there's a way to change that up a little bit. I really think they should, take that 45 seconds. You do the same event if you want, but take the 45 seconds and take it down, 5 or 10 seconds. That way they have to go at game speed. The guys were not going at game speed. They were coasting, which kind of took away from the event. And I really felt the same thing, the same way about the one-timers. The one-timers ended up being little snapshots. They weren't really one-timers, like where you wind up and really take a one-timer. They end up being snapshots because they're looking for the accuracy. And I don't think that's the way it was envisioned by the NHL when they drew it up. So I think they could take that one-timer event and change that up just a little bit. If it's a snapshot, don't count it. So they really have to take the one-timer. And if they miss, they miss, So I think that's a good way. But overall, I thought that was a good event. And of course, the fastest skater is always a good event. I did like the breakaway, the breakaway challenge, or the one on ones, I guess they called it. That was a good event. I thought that was well done with the 5 pucks that were 1 point, and then as many 2 point pucks on the blue line as you could get within that 60 seconds. I thought that was really, really well done, and they had to work. They really had to work at that event, and good job by all the goalies, and good job by the skaters. They were really trying to score, so it wasn't coasting. That they really had to work hard at that event, so that was good. I really wish they could get the goalies more involved in more of the skills competitions. Maybe have a fastest skater for the goalies, something like that. Maybe, one thing that I kind of did like, I think they did it last year, was the goalies did some shooting, some like at the net at the other end. Maybe they could do something like that. Maybe there's a passing challenge for the goalies. Incorporate the goalies into more skills because they do more than just stop the puck. So I think they could have done a little bit better with that. But overall, really, really good job. I liked how they pared down the number of skaters from 12 to 8, and then they had the obstacle course, which I thought the obstacle course was great. I do think that at the very end when they shot through the hole in the goal, I think that could have been smaller, or they could have positioned that in a way where it was up in the corner or something like that, to make it a little bit more difficult at the end of that. But overall, good job, NHL. I thought the skills competition was something, and you put money behind it. So, you know, the players had something to play for. One guy won the $1 million, which inevitably was Connor McDavid, which I think everybody knew that was going to happen. But overall, it was competition. It wasn't taken lightly. Overall, I think the one person that did not represent his team well was Nikita Kucherov. He heard it from the fans. He was hearing it from me in my living room. That was a joke. His effort was a complete joke and an embarrassment to the Tampa Bay Lightning. If I was the NHL, if I was Commissioner Gary Bettman, there would be a conversation that would be had with that organization. If they're going to send somebody to, with any team, if they're going to send somebody to the NHL All-Star game, they should be worthy. And while Nikita Kucherov is worthy, scores a lot of goals, gets a lot of points, if he's going to look like he's not trying all the time and he doesn't care, then he shouldn't be there, in my opinion. So, overall, I thought it was very, very well done. I thought the Bruins guys had a really, really good showing. I thought Swayman played remarkably well in the game. I thought he did okay in the one-on-one challenge. I thought Pastrnak played okay. I didn't think Pastrnak played particularly well in the championship game in the All-Star event.
I could have done a little bit better in the skills competitions. He didn't make the final event. He was one of the four that didn't make it. But overall, I thought it looked like he was trying, which was good. And he did admit that he was sat a lot and he was trying not to get hurt, which I completely understand. But overall, I thought he did okay. Swayman, again, played pretty well. And again, I just want to touch on Jim Montgomery. Jim Montgomery had a lot of fun. He was on the bench with his son, and he was with Justin Bieber, and won for the second year in a row. So congratulations, Jim Montgomery, for getting it done. By all accounts, sure he's not doing a whole lot of coaching in the All-Star game, but you know what? He's a good coach, and they've won a lot of games with him behind the bench, and the same goes for the All-Star game. So really, really good job overall. Bruins first place. NHL, I give you a B plus for the All Star weekend. So, but I do think things could go. You could tighten it up a little bit better. So that's it, guys. It's great to be back with you. It's great to be back on the air, watching the Bruins. We play tomorrow night. can't wait to get the second half of the season underway and see what the playoffs look like. And I'm going to be back with you quite a bit. I'll be back next week. We'll touch on the games between now and next Monday. And we'll see how things go and see if Jim Montgomery can change what he did last year from what he did last year and get some more wins in the playoffs. Again, I want to just say thank you for being here. Thanks for paying attention. Thank you for listening. You can reach us at bruinsforecheck@gmail.com. You can reach us at Bruins Forecheck on Facebook, at Bruins Forecheck on Instagram, and at Bruins Forecheck on YouTube. So please reach out to us. If you have some content, if you want to hear something I'm not talking about, let me know. That's all it's going to take. Shoot me a message and let me know. But until then, it's great to be here, and go Bruins.